Hey everybody, it's Matt with the Ezee Life, and today we're going to show you how to check and add oil to your engine and why having a properly lubricated engine is important.
Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior, forever. He sought me and bought me with His redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew Him.
First thing you want to do is locate your engine oil dipstick, which is right here on this particular engine. You're going to pull it out, wipe it off, make sure there's no oil or as little oil as possible on it. Stick it back in the tube all the way down, pull it back out, and now you're going to check the oil on it. The level of the oil, if I can get this thing to focus. There should be a line in there. This one is about 2 quarts low, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. So to add the oil, you want to take off your oil cap, grab a bottle of oil. If you have a funnel, you want to put a funnel in that hole, but you can do it like this if you're careful. Just slowly pour in about 2 quarts, and I think this only had about 2 quarts left in it, if I read it correctly. So we're going to go ahead and add the rest of this bottle. There we go. Now, replace your oil cap. In all honesty, you should only replace your oil cap once you know that you've got the right amount of oil. But since I know there was only about 2 quarts left in here, we don't have to worry about that. After you add your oil, you're going to let it sit for a few seconds, give that oil time to drip down into the oil pan. Pull it up, go ahead and give it another good wipe, just to be on the safe side. Put it back in the dipstick tube, push it all the way down, and we're going to check it. And as you can see, it's right at the add mark. Turn it over. Which is good enough for now until I can go to the store and get another quart of oil to put in here. But tell you what, while I do that, let's go ahead and discuss how to read an oil dipstick. Your oil dipstick is going to be a certain length based on the engine it's needed for. Like for instance, Jeep 4-liter straight 6, this is your dipstick length. This goes down the dipstick hole right there, and the end of it sticks into the oil pan. That gives you your level. On, say, a 7.3-liter Power Stroke, it's probably going to be about 3 times the length of this because, well, one, the engine's much larger. The dipstick tubes comes all the way up and forward, and so it has to go down the tube and into the oil pan. Now, to read a dipstick is very easy, very easy. As you can see here, this one just has add and safe. All right, or someone will say add and full. You see these 2 dots? That measures 1 quart of oil. So earlier on when I said it needed 2 quarts, I was wrong. It actually needed 3. And I'm going to go to the store here in a little while and get another quart. Running it a little bit low is not bad. Running it over can be very, very dangerous, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But when the oil level reaches the add mark, you're 1 quart low. You need to add 1 quart of oil. And as you saw a minute ago, when I added those 2 quarts that were in that bottle, it was right at the add mark, so it needs 1 more quart of oil. Now, some dipsticks, like this one, just has these 2 dots. A lot of dipsticks you're going to see will have like little hash marks, little cross hatching. What that does, that holds on the oil, keeps it from sliding down. This one has the word safe that keeps it from sliding down. There's going to be some way on the dipstick to keep the oil from sliding off the dipstick long enough for you to be able to check it. So that's how dipsticks basically work. Oil is the lifeblood of your engine. Without oil, nothing gets lubricated. That oil creates a thin film which gets in between metal parts and keeps them from basically wearing each other out over a period of hours while running the engine. With proper maintenance, with proper oil changes, you can make an engine last indefinitely. There are other factors involved recently, obviously, but you'll never have to worry about lack of oil if you do proper maintenance. Now, there are a lot of factors involved. Your oil system starts with your oil pan, which is where the oil sits. Then there's the oil pump, which when the engine is running, pumps the oil up into the engine and spreads the oil throughout, lubricating all the necessary parts, all the wear items. And the type of oil your engine uses is recommended by your manufacturer, although there are some cases where that is just wrong. Ask about the GM 6.2 liter. Anyway, moving on. This is an older engine. Love bugs. This is an older engine. When this engine was first built back in the 1980s, it called for 10W30. When I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, that's all we ever used. Here in the southern United States, on the Gulf Coast of the United States, all we ever used was 10W30. It was a good oil. Sometimes we used 20W50. That was in rare cases. But 10W30 is a good overall engine for the Gulf Coast, at least older engines. On newer engines, they're recommended anything from 5W20 to 0W, I don't even know anymore. They're doing that to try to meet emission standards. I had a Ford F-150 pickup a while back. It was a 2002 model. Called for 5W20 motor oil. I used 10W30. Why? Because I wasn't worried about that quarter of a mile a gallon over, 10,000 miles that I was going to save. I used a heavier, thicker oil. Never had a problem with lubrication with that engine. Problems I did have, we're not going to go into here. That's not the scope of this video. But if you use a good, thick oil, heavier than generally what the vehicle manufacturer recommends. I'm not saying you should do this, but in some cases it's perfectly fine. If you're in, like we talked about the GM 6.2 liter, they're having issues with that whatever motor oil they were recommending, 0W20 I think it was. I had to check on that, but it was causing problems. So GM recommended they switch to a heavier motor oil. I'll put the one they recommend now up here where you can see it. And the issues have basically gone away. So, a good motor oil, a good standardized motor oil, SAE certified, all this other, there's 100 different certifications that can appear on the bottle. We're not here to discuss what those certifications are, but just know that if it's a good motor oil, like say, and I'm not recommending any particular brands here, none of them are sponsoring me, if these are brands that I've used and I know are good quality. Mobil, Valvoline, Haviland, stay away from SuperTech. I mean, it's okay in a pinch, it'll do the job, but generally speaking, SuperTech is okay oil. Lucas, Amsoil, several other synthetics. Royal Purple's a big one. So, a good quality motor oil is going to make your engine last indefinitely, at least on the lubrication end. Now, as you saw the dipstick tube, it said, do not overfill. Overfilling can cause a whole host of other problems. You would actually rather run your engine 2 quarts low than 2 quarts over. And here's why. Having too much oil in your crankcase can blow out seals, can cause the oil to foam, which reduces lubrication. This can all lead to severe engine damage. There's other problems that can be caused because of it, but you get the idea. So, don't overfill your crankcase with oil. Running it low, while not a good thing, is actually better than running it over. Well, I've got to get going now. I got to get to the store and get another quart of oil and put in this thing. So, thank you for coming along. I hope you learned something from this. As always, God bless and be good.